Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, I wanted to make a new series today, because it was based off my an idea I had after I made my Wraith video, and based off of a comment. They were like, hey, you should probably try to do this with more, because I kind of like this idea. And I'm like, well, alright. So I decided to call this series the Chop Shop, and this is where we go into the killer selection screen here. I look over his add-ons and his power, and give any ideas I might have on how to improve or streamline this killer in order to make them have a better gameplay performance and just a better overall feel. So today we're doing the Doctor, only because he is next in line for the devs to do a rework pass over, and since we have no idea what they're doing to him, hopefully they're improving him, I figured I may as well go over him, and maybe the devs will see this video if I post, since I'll be posting it on the forums, and who knows, maybe we'll get something done here. Maybe they'll have an idea from it. So, the Doctor. First, to understand what can make him better, we need to understand what makes him not as good. So, Carter Spark, as we all know, he has normally he's just a normal killer, standard terror radius, standard movement speed, all that crap. But then when he switches into his treatment mode, he goes down to 110 movement speed. He starts, his terror radius becomes weaponized and starts building up madness. And obviously, you know, the madness tiers, each one makes you more likely to have a wonky skill check, and once you get to tier 2 of madness, you start activating most of his add-ons. Tier 3 madness, you have Doctor auras that look at you every once in a while. You can't use items, you can't heal, or you scream every few moments, and it's... No, Gracie. Sorry, my dog was whining. And they scream every few moments, and you have to channel snap out of it in order to get out of it and go back to madness level 2. So, and then there's the Carter Spark, which allows you to shock survivors, giving them a big chunk of madness on their meter, as well as making it to where they can't do any sort of actions to interact with pallets or windows for, I think it's like 1.5 to 2 seconds, maybe just under 2 seconds. I don't know, it doesn't exactly tell you, and I forgot exactly what the stat on it is. But regardless, it's a nice little tool to shorten loops, but this is where the problem comes in. The base range of Carter Spark is so short that unless you're running Moldy Electrode, and I am going to explain why in just a second for all you who are not, you know, more experienced with the Doctor, unless you're running Moldy Electrode, you can't really use this as effectively as you should be. Now the problem with that is you need a range add-on in order to increase his range to hit people at more opportune areas, but then you have the problem of the downside of the add-ons, which increases your shock therapy charge time, which is already fairly long by default. But if when you start throwing the add-ons on there, it becomes a problem, because the high stimulus electrode and the polished electrode, they add some pretty good range, but the charge time is so slow that you can't use it to anti-loop as effectively as smaller loops. And if you miss your shock therapy attack, it's a lot more punishing. Moldy Electrode is the best one, because unless you're running Sniper Doctor, then you can't really make much use of it. And this is just better for smaller loops, because it lets you use it at smaller loops. So my biggest thought on just a straight up buff to the Doctor, which would help him in this area and make his ability more consistent, because as you might also know, his ability has a tendency to where sometimes it won't interrupt the survivor's actions like it says it's supposed to. Sometimes you can zap them and they'll just go right on through the window, right back over the pallet or whatever, and you get robbed out of a hit. And I feel like if they made it just a little faster, this would help smooth that out just a little bit, because I was thinking they could add the Moldy Electrode to his base kit, but without the minus downside of the charge speed. because it seems kind of silly that he's being held back so much by one add-on. So let's take a look at his other add-ons. We'll go at the Iridescent King. Basically, it throws all of his add-ons into one big pot, and every time he zaps you, one of the add-ons at random takes effect. For an Iridescent, this is pretty cool. It's weaker than most Iridescents, but it's also, like, it's not terrible. It's kind of like the ideal Iridescent. It's strong, but not so strong that it's unbeatable. So here's the calm version of Carter's Notes. Each of his add-ons have like 2 or 3 different kinds. What the calm series does is it makes his tear radius huge when in treatment mode, but in punishment mode it makes his tear radius smaller. So basically it's like monitor and abuse built into an add-on in a way. And then it only has like this silly thing where you can, it sounds like in Tier 2 of Madness then you're like it messes with your tear radius sense, because it sounds like he's always nearby. And then in Tier 3 it plays it constantly. Not really entirely sure how that feels. Discipline. It basically makes it to where the red stain and tear radius are like as if he was right behind you. Now this could be kind of decent if he's trying to mind game you at something, but honestly that's the only time you'll really get much use out of this. And it's also pretty decent for finding people in the corn because they're glowing red from the red stain being on their back. So it makes it difficult for a survivor to determine whether or not you're still behind them or not. Although for this add-on, I think what they could do to make it better is change this to where instead of this red stain, make it oblivious. Because this would make it a bit more powerful. Because it would allow him to counter things like borrowed time if you're in Tier 3 Madness. But as well, it would also be less annoying for the survivor, because instead of having this really loud heartbeat and this bright red stain on you, the doctor just gains the mind game potential and everything just goes quiet. Like, just imagine the big tear radius, the big loud, hey, I'm coming to get you killer, the doctor, all of a sudden just vanishing into thin air because you can't hear him. And you're like, well, where the hell did he go? And then he just gets you, and then he just swings around a corner and smacks you because you looked the wrong way. I mean, it would be so much fun. As for the calm ones, going back to it, I'm honestly not sure what I would do to this one. Maybe, man, that really is a hard one. Alright, we'll go back to this one when I think of something. Let's see, Obedience. This one makes it to where snap out of it takes longer, and when you're in Tier 3 Madness, you're exhausted. Pretty decent add-on. Not the best, though, because the problem is with Doctor, good doctors know that your objective is not to shock everyone into Tier 3 Madness. You use your shocks only when you're trying to cut off loops, and Tier 3 is basically just like a passive that you just obtain when you hold out treatment mode, just trying to build up madness on everybody so they lose their location, or eventually they get into Tier 3 and they have to use time to get out of it, that kind of stuff. Not really sure if I would do anything to this add-on. It's not a bad add-on. It's good for slowing down the game and for slowing down those, exhaustion perks. Order. Okay, here we go. This increases the amount of static field passive buildup rate on your madness meter, as well as it makes a fake pallet spawn within, let's see, I think it's the terror. Oh, well, on this one it's unlimited distance from the doctor every 20 seconds. Which, these are kind of like Freddy's fake pallets, only they disappear as soon as you get close and then the doctor just laughs at you. Not a terrible add-on. It can fool people sometimes, but if survivors realize you're running this, they just have to memorize what pallets have been used, and they won't get fooled by it. So there's that. Restraint, my personal favorite of his add-on series. Every time you tear up a survivor in Madness, their aura gets revealed for a couple of seconds. But that's not the best part. The best part is, in Tier 3 you usually have illusionary doctors that'll sometimes appear to be in a random spot and look at you. And the doctor can see these through walls. Only in Tier 3 though. Unless he's running the Restraint series add-ons, in which case he can see them all the time. And it's pretty damn good. It turns Doctor into the best tracker in the game, because as soon as he gets you to Tier 2 Madness, for the rest of the game there's a chance that he will find you because of a clone. And so trying to play stealthy against a Doc is not recommended. I mean, Doc is obviously intended to be the anti-stealth killer. That has been his goal in life since the day he was made. Honestly, love this add-on. Probably the only add-on I feel that could not, except for maybe the Exhaustion one, that really doesn't need a change to remain decent. That's Discipline. Alright, so that's all of his add-on series. And then there's the Interview Tape. Now this one is a good add-on for really experienced docs, or if you want to run Snipe Doc, because you can run that with a high stimulus electrode, and you can run it with like a totem or Gen Aura build, and you can just snipe people from super long distance with a shock therapy, knock them off of whatever they're doing and increase their madness. It gives Doctor a bit more map pressure in a way. It allows him to stop them from doing what they're doing before he gets there, especially if you're running a totem build. If you're running a totem build, this is a nightmare. But then there's the lesser of that, called the Scrap Tape, where it just creates a donut in front of him. Pretty trashy add-on, honestly. It doesn't really do anything beneficial. This one could use a complete overhaul. The Maple Knight basically just has like this little staticky aura in front of you showing exactly how far the range on your shock therapy is. Good for newer doctors, but after you play Doctor for a few games you probably won't really need it, because you'll get the general idea. And so yeah, now we've gone over his add-ons and his power. So another thing they could do to streamline Doctor just a little bit would be to either make him still remain in 115 speed in treatment mode. I really don't see that making him overpowered, but it would definitely be nice for map pressure reasons, which is exactly what a lot of killers are lacking. And Doctor could just have a bit better map pressure just from that, because he'd be able to stay in treatment mode more often without losing time. And he could use his Terror Radius as a weapon to pressure the map with his static field. Then another thing they could do is reduce the slowdown whenever he's charging, or make him swap stances faster, because that also slows him down. Basically the biggest problem with the Doctor is, even if you do succeed in using his shock therapy the proper way, you usually have to do it 2 or 3 times before you actually catch the person, because Doctor suffers from so many slowdowns in the process. Slow down when he's firing, slow down when he's swapping stances, slow down from just being in treatment mode. Those slowdowns stack up pretty quick, and it becomes quite a messy situation. So they could like maybe increase the speed of his stance switch so it's less downtime. You know, stuff like, just small things like that would just be huge for the Doctor, and I think it would elevate him to a pretty decent killer. Don't think he'd be the best, but honestly, I don't need him to be the best. I just want him to be like Hag Huntress level, or around Freddy level. I think all killers should be around that level, because if they were, then no killer would feel weak. All killers would be able to actually do something. You know? But anyway, now that I've gone over all that, let's go into a game. For those of you who are not new to the channel, you may have noticed I've swapped up my build a little bit. After a while, I've just decided Dying Light wasn't doing it. It takes too long to build up, and the slowdown benefit's not very good, especially since it only affects 3 survivors, and it also desynergizes with the other perks, because the Obsession can just pile drive healing to basically make Thanatophobia weaker, and Thanatophobia is the only slowdown that the Obsession receives, so they completely negate, the slowdown on healing gets completely negated by the buff on Dying Light. And I don't even want to think about what happens if they're running a med kit or if they have botany knowledge themselves. It's fucking insane. Honestly, I've already made like posts on the forums and I've talked about how Dying Light could be changed. But that's a discussion for another day. For now, I'm going to use the Doctor here, and I'll see if I can make an example in game of why I think that it works, like why these changes would work and help him become better. And I still have to think of something to do with that Calm add-on's other effect. Honestly, its effect is pretty damn useless and inconsequential. You only run it to increase your tear radius in treatment mode for a bit more map pressure and to increase how much your static field is doing. Or maybe that's a different no, I'm getting his add-ons mixed up. And you know, this is why I love the Doctor. He has so many things that went into designing him. Like, he's probably, in a way, the most complex killer ever made. And I'm just amazed that no killer has really come close to being as complex as him in all that time. All of his add-ons do something completely unique. All of his ability has separate like functions to it, meaning that Doctor has like a multitude of playstyles. Stealth Doctor, Snipe Doctor, Impossible Skill Checks Doctor. Like, I don't know any other killer that has that many builds just based off their power and add-ons alone. And I'm really impressed. And that's why I'm hoping that they try to keep this in the Doctor whenever they change him. Because Doctor was my first killer, and so I have a special sentimental value to him. Because he's the one that helped me learn the ropes of the game, and it just... And plus he's fucking cool. Come on, man. Who can't love that laugh? Anyhow. So those are kind of my ideas. Who knows what the devs have in store? They've been doing a pretty decent job with the reworks lately, aside from the nurse, but that could be pretty easily fixed. So we'll see what happens. So when you're playing Doctor, you usually try to go into treatment mode like so, to cover the user tear radius to locate your first survivor. Therefore, making your downtime very short at the start of the game, which is very important, especially for people like me not running Ruin. But I already saw the Dwight over there. Hi. Look how long that took. And he just stood there the whole time. Alright, let me see if I can't. Oh, he went around. Luckily, there's no window there. What the? Okay. Oh, I missed him. This guy camps pallets. Pallet campers will suffer against the Doctor. See? Because he couldn't vault over it. Do not pallet camp against a decent Doctor, or you will be absolutely destroyed. But you saw how slow those charge times were? It's like, if I wasn't running Moldy Electrode, the range would be so short that on, like, if I'm trying to prevent them from going through a window or something, it wouldn't help me at all. But the charge time, even with the Moldy Electrode, is ridiculously long. Ah. I don't know where he went. Oh, wow. Okay. Tracking is buggy as hell in the latest patch. Sounds are getting cut off through walls. Sure, I'll take that hit. Believe me, I will take that hit. That's more thanatophobia. Alright. So he vaulted that. He's not very bright. So let's go kick this gen. Go into treatment mode so people are passively building up madness. It's just a little bit of pressure that Doctor can do. Nothing too major, but it could save your ass in the long run. Someone's behind me. Oh no. Got him. Alright, throw it. Throw it down. Oh my god, the turning speed is so bad. He's a teabagger, really? After he got utterly flomped on the last one? Okay. I see how this is gonna go. Yeah, teabag me now. Pallet campers. Doctor's favorite prey. So someone just came through here. I wonder if he's gonna rage quit. Oh my god, I missed the swing. They're all just swarming the hook. Alright. I'll let him have him. I just want the Dwight. The frames are also not the best when you're playing Doc. Look at that, they're trying to block his way. This must be some kind of Survivor Friends group if they're playing like this. No group of randoms goes through this kind of trouble. Shouldn't have slow vaulted that. Just saying. You're really trying to do that. Look at that. They're straight up farming each other at this point. I'm not exactly sure what they're thinking is going to happen. Thank you. God pallet gone. And now he just DCs. Wow. That's actually pathetic. Survivors like this are what's wrong with this game. They are the biggest source of toxicity in this game. He just wasted the God pallet when he was intending to give up anyway. I can't stand people who do that to their team. Not on mine or anyone else's. Ah, he got it done. Oh, there was two of them, that's why. Didn't need to shock him, but, you know, extra points. That is a bad idea. Alright, these people clearly don't know how the Doctor works. They clearly have no idea. Let's kick this generator over here. Pop goes the weasel's gonna make that gen basically go to 0. Now let's see if that survivor is still hanging around here. I got him. That's funny. Alright, he's gonna go through this God window. That's fine. Is he going for the save? Gosh, these frames. Where'd he go? Oh. Damn it, he makes it. If I'd known where he was going, I would have gotten to shock therapy. Although the elevation might have screwed me anyway. Alright, now. Does he make that again? What do you... Yeah, no. I've seen that trick before. Gens are starting to go pretty quick, but with one person down. I'm not in a bad place. I do need to go stop that gen from getting done, however. Let's see if I can't get this gen before it gets completed, and pop goes the Weaselet. Okay, good. Plenty of time. Let's just get that going. Stay in punishment just to get that 115 speed and try to catch up a bit faster. I don't know where he went. Scratches are so weird in this patch. Alright, well the Dr. Aura showed us that he is down here somewhere. So let's see if we can find someone. Yep, over here. Someone's been working on this generator. So let's smack him. Now he is injured, so Thanatophobia will slow things down a little bit more. Actually, I'll just go ahead and down him. I won't pick him up, but it'll pressure this place just a little bit more. Alright, so he's going for the big loot. Yeah. He's... Hold up. Someone's over here. No, not down here. The Doctor illusion just sank into the ground. Well, I have no idea. Let's see. Where... Someone was here. So let's go into punish or treatment mode. Get some pressure going this way. He's around here somewhere. Is he hiding behind the gen? No. Okay. Let's stick with... Someone is over there. Wonder if he's in a locker? Oh, that is another thing I forgot. Doctors, shocks, and madness can't build up while you're in lockers. It's almost it's a pretty easy to forget detail. Alright, so there's someone over there at that gen. So let's go over there. They might be over there healing each other. Either way, I'm losing a ton of pressure just sitting here. And it was a good decision because there's two of them here. With the God palette gone, he only has one choice to go for the... or go that way, obviously. See, the range is still not that great, even with the moldy electrode. See, it didn't really interrupt him. And he doubled back. Some of these loops are ridiculously strong. You only have one direction you can go. Now he's trapped over here. Ah. Come on. He likes to go into the corner. I should be breaking some more of these pallets, but... Where'd he... What? Okay. I'm gonna break a couple of these. These are quickly spiraling out of control. Yep, they're on that gen again. It's nearly done. I'm doing terribly here at the end. They've got these really strong loops to fall back on. I need to get this guy down. See that right there? That's what I was talking about earlier. I zapped him before he started vaulting, and it still did not stop him from getting it done. So So now it's all going to get done. Yeah. I lost too much time. I had good pressure going, but I lost it all. And the frames are dropping like crazy. Not good. Oh well. But this is just one of those examples as to why Doctor needs some love. Now granted, I didn't play the best either. I could have done better. But that loop at the end, I didn't have enough. I can't shock it because it's too slow. Yeah. So he gets away, and the other guy's gonna get away. It's just, Doctor is an inconsistent mess. And that's the whole reason that I went over all this. Because there's those big loops, which are bad against every killer, but Doctor can't use his anti-looping tool against them because it's too slow. And all the slowdowns just make it to where, even when he secures the stun, he makes it just milliseconds before they just vault over it again and negate it. There we go. So this is my synopsis on the Doctor and how I feel he can be improved. If you have any questions or if you have any ideas or thoughts to share, please do share them down below. Until then, I will see you all in the next one.